Daytona's just around the corner in real life and in the Peak Antifreeze Series here on iRacing.com. I'm Rachael Whiteford, good evening and welcome to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze pre-season show live here on RaceSpotTV, of course streaming on iRacing Live. Tonight, of course, we're going to have a chat to a number of guests, including the likes of your season 2015 champion Kenny Humpe, talking to Ray Alfalla, Bryan Blackford, the team boss Lisa Pineda, Timmy Hill, real-life NASCAR driver and qualified from the Pro Series last year. He's a peak rookie this year. We're going to talk to Tyler D. Hudson and Chris Overland. Of course, don't forget, we will be having a fan questions section later on in the broadcast, so I'll remind you then. But you can submit your questions in YouTube and, well, selected ones will be read out on air and posed to the guests. Well, we're going to get things underway, of course. We're going to talk now to the driver, Kenny Humpe. He won this season, just past. Kenny Humpe, of course, with 5 wins, securing that title. The team driver, yep, that's the team, Kenny.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Absolutely perfect tonight, Kenny. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, 5 wins and securing the title, a championship of consistency, if I do say so. Very big start to the year, early wins, stamping your dominance on the series, but a quieter, more consistent second half of the season. Just in your own words, tell us what 2015 was for you.
Oh, 2015 was a great year. Thanks to all the guys on the team. They're the ones who made it happen. They made it fun for me to race every weekend or week, and you know, to go out there and actually race. And they made it fun the entire year. And you know, like you said, we started out really strong, got all those wins pretty much the first half of the year, and that allowed myself to just kind of ride and kind of finish all the races. And I think it put me in a pretty good position there towards the end. We had, you know, a lot more hiccups than we did at the start, and had a few bad finishes, but to get that big jump out of the gate really made a big difference towards the end of the year. And you know, luckily we were able to come away with the championship, which was huge. I mean, all the guys that I raced in put this on, and everybody at NASCAR and Peak and everybody that stepped up, man, it was an awesome deal, and I'm thankful for every opportunity I've had throughout the year, and luckily, like I said, just able to come away with the championship, which just huge.
It was a very big season for you and an incredible achievement, but really hard to tie you down as a certain specialist driver. Of course, you won at Vegas, you won at Auto Club in California, you won at Richmond, of course, the shorter track, the little D-shaped track, very similar to Auto Club in Michigan. You won at Michigan as well, and of course, you won at Dover. So, quite the widespread talents there, from the shorter tracks up to your big 2-mile tracks. Is there anything particularly you find is your specialty within these races, or do you have a weakness? Do you want to talk about a weakness on air?
Well, definitely my specialty, I would like to think, would be like the shorter tracks. You know, like Richmond, I figured going into that race, you know, it would be a perfect spot I thought would be my only shot to win a race, because really the bigger tracks, the 1.5 miles and the 2-mile tracks, they're more based on setup, more that, in my opinion, maybe others will differ, but it's more on setup and how good the car drives, and I think that speaks, you know, just everything to what the team was able to do last year with all the guys on that we have able to work on the setups and to get it driving good for those type of tracks. But like, I think the shorter tracks bring out the driver a little bit more, but like I said, that's my opinion. But I figured going into Richmond, that's one of my best tracks. It's been since I started iRacing, you know, way back since it started 8 years ago or whatever it is now. But I figured I had a chance to win at those races, and you know, they're slowly getting off the schedule, and we're going to these bigger tracks now that you kind of got to work at. You know, you got to do work on the setup and get everything to drive good, and everybody on the team did such a great job last year at getting our cars the best there, especially the first half of the season, and I was able to take advantage of that. You know, we were able to get some wins early on and just that type of thing. But definitely the shorter tracks seem to be, you know, kind of in my forte, or my favorite places to race. I like racing at those type of tracks where the driver has more input on the type of things that go on, and we were able to get a win at Richmond, which was pretty cool. But and the road course is also fun. I think having that type of track on there kind of gives like a nice a difference in the series. Where we can go to the road course and race there as well, and just do a bunch of different things. And but hats off to the team for doing such a great job at making all the setups for the bigger tracks that were allowing me to able to run really good at those tracks as well.
So, of course, you had one win previously in the series in 2014, and you capped it off with 5 in 2014 for the one win, 2015 for the 5, tying yourself with Ray Alfalla for most wins in a season, which is a huge achievement. What do you think made this year? Of course, we had a major change in our racing. We brought dynamic track to NASCAR and to road course racing, but of course the biggest impact for it was in oval racing. You won the championship with the shift from the static track to the dynamic. Just tell the viewers what sort of change that was for you. How big a difference was it?
That was a huge change. Unfortunately, I haven't had the best of runs since we've been racing on the dynamic tracks. I think we had, like 3 or 4 races under the dynamic track conditions, and unfortunately, I had some trouble in pretty much every single race we had since it switched over. But I enjoy it. I think it brings a whole new level to iRacing. They've done such a great job at. I like I said, I've been here since 2008 when they first started going, and the advances that they've been able to make throughout the years, and making, coming up with NASCAR and getting this whole series started. It's just been incredible to be a part of, and to see the progression of everything that they've been able to do has just been incredible, and I think it can only go further from here. But that the dynamic track definitely made a huge change. You gotta be ahead of the racetrack. You gotta kind of know what's going to happen as soon as the race is going on. And like I said, unfortunately last year I didn't have a chance to get to that point before I ran into some trouble. But hopefully this year we'll get that all straightened out, and we'll be able to run for another championship.
Well, we'll certainly all be rooting for you here, of course. That is Kenny Humpe, driver of the Peak sponsored car, sponsored by the title of the series, which is a big thing for you. Hopefully you'll be able to join us again later on when we get the fan question segment. So thanks for joining us for now, Kenny, and we're going to talk next to the drivers of Slip Angle Motorsports. The drivers together having the most starts and most laps of anybody else in terms of a team. We have, of course, Ray Alfalla here, and we have Bryan Blackford, and we're also joined by Lisa Pineda, their team boss here at Slip Angle Motorsports. Guys, I'm just going to run through a few stats. I told myself I wouldn't, I told you I wouldn't, but I want the viewers to really understand just how big Slip Angle is as a team. Ray has 17 career wins. Bryan, unfortunately none yet, but Ray has the most starts, 102. Bryan, third most starts, 94. Ray has 55 top 5s and most laps led with 2,126. So it's a huge number of statistics for these guys. Ray, Bryan, Lisa, good evening. Of course, start over 2015. You guys had a pretty good season. Ray, you nearly took the title away from Kenny Humpe. And, well, you are a champion in the series twice, 2011, 2012. We'll start with you, of course, first. Big year, just missed that top step. What happened?
Hey, thank you for having us. We got second. That's pretty much what happened. Kenny kind of got out there to a huge lead in the middle part of the season, and I kind of started swinging for the fences, also just trying to win races and kind of put myself in a bigger hole than I should have been in. And even though we, speaking about stats, we made up over 100 points in the last 3 races of the year, which isn't really something that is going to show up anywhere in any stat, because the positions didn't change. We still finished second, but we ended the season on a very high note, and I think we're looking to start the season on the same way that we ended it.
Of course, it's a big season to come now, and you drivers are all used now to dynamic track. We talked about it with Kenny Humpe a moment ago, but you and Bryan, just how big has that shift been?
What was that?
I was just saying, just how big a shift has dynamic track been for you as a team?
Yeah, dynamic track has been pretty huge, I think. It's I mean, personally, it's not where I'd like it to be yet, as far as the highline doesn't form as well as I'd like it to form, but it's much better than what we had. And I think something that's even bigger than dynamic tracks is the tire wear that we have now, the tire fall off. Ever since we got the new tire model, it seemed like we would only fall off like a second, and we had that for like 4 years, and we were really wanting the tires to fall off. That way, the cars lose grip over a run, and you really have to manage your tires and watch how you drive. And now we have to do that, and we're falling off, 3 or 4 seconds every run, to where we're pretty much short pitting every single run. So it's created a whole new dynamic, no pun intended, in the racing, and that combined with the tracks also having some sort of a second groove. We saw that a lot at Homestead, not so much at other tracks, but it's been a lot more fun. And this year, with the low downforce package coming, I think next build it should be even more fun.
Absolutely. And Bryan, of course, your input on that one?
Yeah, I love the new dynamic track model iRacing has come out with. It's really been something that we've been looking forward to for a decade or more. I've been sim racing a long time, and we've been anxiously awaiting something similar to what iRacing's put out. And I think with a couple of tweaks here and there, it's gonna be even better than it is now. And what they have now is absolutely phenomenal. I can't thank iRacing enough for pulling together and getting that released, especially for the last little bit of the season. I wasn't expecting it, to be quite honest. So that's pretty cool how they came out with it, and we were able to finish off the season with it. And so now we have a little bit of what to expect for this season, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, Bryan, of course, you've had 30 top 10s in your career history in the Peak Series. Are you trying to get that win this year?
Oh yeah, we're always trying to get that first one. I think this year is going to be a great year to do that. We've got a great team. Lisa and Ray, they've stuck with me from the very beginning when we formed Slip Angle, and Brandon Wright, he's going to be my spotter again this season. He's an excellent spotter. He got me out of a lot of tight situations last year, and because of him and Lisa, I was able to complete every lap for the first time in series history. So last year we completed every single lap that was run, and really proud of that. Really proud of Brandon for helping me do that. And this year we've got a new crew chief, a special announcement. Josh Hanner is going to join me. He'll be crew chief in the number 22. So really looking forward to working with him. Him and his wife just had a baby. Her name is Alexandria. So congratulations to him. But yeah, I think this year is definitely the year that we could pull off that first win.
Of course, you have had quite a tough year this year, Bryan. Of course, with the accident, which many people know about. Do you feel you're in a better place now in terms of physical stress of racing? Well, of course, we know this is sim racing, but it takes a lot out of drivers more than people would imagine. Of course, you're sitting there for a long period of time. There's muscle issues. There's, of course, you guys train as a team. And do you feel like you're in a better place this year to do that, having, well, gotten beyond, should we say, what happened?
Yeah, last season, I was still recovering from the accident. At the beginning of the season, I was just kind of weak in general, just because it was such a trauma to go through. So still was recovering from that. And I'd say near the end of the season, I was starting to feel back to 100%. But for this coming season, I feel like I'm even better than I was before the accident, because I don't know. I don't have any room to complain. You know, you just kind of puts life in perspective, I guess. So whenever anything bad happens throughout the season, you always have that to fall back onto. Like, man, this could be so much worse. And regardless of how we do the season, I'm just so excited to have fun with this new physics model, new track model. It's for a full season. It's going to be a lot of fun regardless of what happens, and I'm really excited to get started with my teammates.
Well, Slip Angle Motorsports will definitely be going for a championship this year. Will it be Bryan? Will it be Ray? That one they're going to have to decide between themselves, and hopefully we'll see I hate to bring up Formula One and a NASCAR broadcast, but hopefully we'll see a bit of Mercedes rivalry kicking off between you two as you fight, both of you, for the title. But this is where we're going to bring in Lisa, your team boss. Lisa, running a team, even in sim racing here, is no small order. And I want you, as a team boss here, to give the viewer an insight into what happens behind the curtain, because all these guys in the Peak Series are running in teams that are not just drivers. These guys do not simply log on to the iRacing service, click race now, turn up, and run their race. Give us an insight into what the structure is behind a team here and how much preparation and work it takes to run a team in the Peak Series.
Well, thanks, Rachel. Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't realize how much work really does go into putting the team together between social media, website, team practice, business partnerships, keeping all those active. And also, we travel quite a bit, not only with the Wendell Scott Foundation, but a few other things racing related as well. So that takes a lot of planning. And so a lot of my time is actually just planning events. I hope to do more of that this year. I really like to meet other people in the series, and I think as it becomes more like a family within the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, and we can get together and do some races at GoPro or go to do an autograph session together, I think it's going to really help the series as a whole. So that's kind of my focus for this year, is just kind of promoting the whole series, not just our team, because it's whatever's good for the series is good for our team. So, but when it comes to practice, I'm pretty much a cheerleader on that end. I just kind of remind people, hey, how's it going? Get little updates on Q and what race trim is looking like. And Last Year Motorsports, our alliance from last year, we're going forward this year with them as well. They're an amazing team and really awesome to work with. So they just kind of take the reins on that. Our other teammates aren't here right now, but Brandon Wright, of course, the spotter for Bryan and Josh. Josh being the crew chief, but also for Stephanie Lessentine on Ray's side. She does a phenomenal job of keeping everything in order as well, and spotting during the race for Ray. So everyone just has their positions, and we get along really well, which is a huge benefit. So our last year, end of the year trip to Homestead, we really got to bond a lot. So we're already making plans for Homestead this year. Regardless, of course, we'd love to have a championship, but we still plan on being there. And so we're already taking time out of our schedule now, making those plans. So I think just like any other race team, it does take a lot of planning to make it successful, but we also want it to be fun. So that's kind of my role in the whole Slip Angle Motorsports organization.
Well, something I've noticed a lot, of course, this year is that you have put a lot of work into to marketing your team to the same extent almost that you see in, I hate to say it, but real motorsports, inverted air commas. Of course, there is really no difference when it comes to this side of things, and you are doing the same sort of social media work, the same sort of in-person promotion work for the team, and tell people what sort of effort it is to put this stuff forward and what you do, and to give them an insight into that side of things.
Well, 3 years ago when I first got involved, it was a lot of education. Of course, we have SimX, which is the educational arm of Slip Angle. So we started with the educational side first and developed the team to kind of support the education. But what was interesting is people actually thought it was cooler that we were doing simulation racing than real life racing. Everyone knows about real life racing. But at first it was getting over that hump of them not knowing what I was talking about. No, we don't. They're like, oh, so what cars do you race? It's like, well, a simulated NASCAR a stock car racing, but it's all in simulators. And as soon as I start talking about flight simulators, light bulbs seem to start turning on. So now that that's kind of done, now people are just intrigued, and it's kind of like it's a anomaly that they're kind of wanting to have around. So when we go to the Hall of Fame, at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte and stuff, they have the whole full chassis simulators there, and we meet people that are fans of the series, and we had never met them before. So it's starting to get more well known, and I definitely see in the near future, just with all of the work that everyone's doing in the series, with marketing it and with RaceSpot being on board and really promoting the series, I think that it's just going to get so well known that we're going to have to start doing some live events, and that's going to be when it really gets exciting. I think it's going to explode at that point.
It's really interesting to see just how close the worlds of sim racing are at the top level, and real world motorsports, of course, off track. All the jobs are pretty much the same. And in that regard, we're going to talk to not only one of your Peak Series rookies this year, but we're also going to hopefully be talking to his team boss as well. And that is EJ O'Rourke here, the team boss of Aftermath Motorsports. EJ, we've just been talking to Lisa about the team side of things here on iRacing, of course, a new spot for the rookie this year, Timmy Hill.
Timmy will be a rookie in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, but when it comes to these racetracks, he is no rookie, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. Of course, we jest, Timmy. As far as applying the title rookie to you, you're far from it. In fact, I believe this year, apart from a few Xfinity starts, you're hoping to have a full season in the just the Camping World Truck Series with Premium Motorsports in the 49 Chevrolet. In real life, are the graphics better?
Yeah, certainly. The picture is much clearer. Now, like you said, we're gearing up for a fun season in the real world racing. We got Daytona coming up here 1 week from now, and we're bringing the same truck we brought to Talladega in the fall last year. It's a pretty good truck. We ran top 10 a lot of the race, and hopefully we can do the same here this in about a week from now. But like you said, we trying to gain sponsors, run a full season. Right now we got sponsorship for the first 2 races. Hopefully we can after the first 2 races have a solid outing, start the year off, and we can continue on and have a full season.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do this year with the Peak Series. It's going to be a big one for you. Of course, you came home this season in 6th place in the Pro Series of iRacing, and that is the final time that will run in its current format, I believe. We're going to have some stats up for you later on the Pro Series. We'll go over that towards the end of the broadcast. But you came home in P number 6, of course, with 8 starts, of 8 counted. Top 5, you had 2 top 10s. It was enough to put you in 4th. A season of consistency.
Yeah, it was fun to be able to run that Pro Series, to kind of get my feet wet with these guys. They're all great competitors, great competition out there. And it's going to be the same thing going into the Peak Series. To come home with the top 5 in points, well, that was awesome. My whole goal with the whole Pro Series was just kind of get through it, get solid finishes, don't wreck out. We got 1 wreck early in the season, and it kind of put us behind as far as the championship was concerned. But nonetheless, I think Josh Berry is going to put on a heck of a performance to win that championship anyhow. But like I said, I got my feet wet working with all my teammates at Aftermath Motorsports and building setups and preparing for races, and kind of see how the flow of things happen for this series. And so going in the Peak Series, I kind of have a better idea how to prepare for these races. And the competition is so tough in this series, you really got to be on it. So it was good to get my feet wet in that Pro Series, get a top 5 in points finish, and hopefully we can do the same here going in the Peak Series.
Well, of course, we have seen you on road tracks before in iRacing. I believe we talked during the inaugural 24 Hours of Daytona. In fact, when you had the Timmy Hill Motorsports entry. But this is a question I've been dying to ask, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers have been dying to hear. But as a driver who has raced in real NASCAR, just how similar is iRacing to the real thing?
I've gotten this question quite a bit, and I answer very honestly, and I really think this is almost identical to the real life stuff. I always kind of revert back to one race back in my rookie season in 2011, when the Nationwide Series at the time, Xfinity now, went to Road America. I've never been to that racetrack before, and I went to iRacing and I practiced so many laps. Road America is a 4-mile road course. It's a long road course, and I learned all the corners, all the uphill, downhill braking points. So when I made my first couple laps, I think lap 3 of the racetrack in real life, I was 15th on the board and ended up getting my best run of the year at Road America with 11th place finish. And I credit that to iRacing. To revert back to your question, I think iRacing is very realistic. I'm on here as much as anybody. There are a lot of real life drivers on here as well. They do a lot of private testing, so they may not speak of it much, but iRacing and sim racing in general is a real big help to the real life stuff.
Well, it's of course interesting insight seeing that from you as a driver, and of course we did say the graphics are obviously a lot better in real life, but you say it's a useful tool, very accurate tool, and we've heard the same sort of thing from other drivers in the past. And what do you think of the level of competition, of course, going through the Pro Series, and do you think you're prepared for the Peak Series?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm prepared as a driver. Obviously, coming down to the setup side, I reckon, like I said, is a great tool. It's a little bit different as far as building these setups online. So still trying to get the hang of that. My teammates, Adam Gill, Lynn Trey Edson, Alex Warren, and my brother Tyler Hill, they've run this Peak Series already, and I'm kind of learning things from them. Competition-wise, I think I'm ready. These guys are all great competition, strong competitors. I've learned that in the Pro Series. It's only going to get tougher here in the Peak Series. So if we can get these setups going, get good enough setups, we can win races, no problem. But that's going to be the toughest part, I think.
I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what you can do this year in your inaugural rookie series in the Peak Antifreeze series. Season, I should say. I can English, I promise. But, of course, it's going to be an interesting season. And EJ, I believe you spot for Timmy as well as being his team boss. Give us an insight as to what life is like on top of the spotter's box, spotter's stand even here on iRacing.
Well, you got to hold on real tight because sometimes at that height, it can get very windy, and it could be easy to blow over. But anyway, yeah, I spot the number 4, TimmyHill.com Toyota Camry in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, and I spotted him through the Pro Series, and I'll be looking forward to going to the Peak Series this year. It's going to be interesting to see how this rookie, at least to the sim in the Peak Antifreeze Series, will do in his rookie season. So looking forward to it, and hopefully he can back up his top 5 in the Pro Series points.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to seeing that. And well, thank you for joining us, guys. Just going to hopefully see you guys later on in the green room, and we're going to be joined by the one, the only Chris Overland.
Hello.
I was hoping you'd come in after that. I was going for a big intro and expecting a ta-da, I'm here. But that'll do. Chris, it's great to have you on here, of course. And I've talked to you before. In fact, we had you on during the one, the only RaceSpot After Dark, during the 24 Hours of Spa, the original one, by RaceSpotTV, of course. And you've had a quiet season. You've obviously had some... You've not been in a great place, mentally, we should say. But... you definitely seem... I'm going to go straight for the shot right now, but you seem in a good place in your head at the moment. Is 2016 the year when we see Chris Overland in victory lane?
Well, when it comes to the virtual aspect of racing, or the mental aspect of racing rather, everybody talks about real life racing, the physical aspect. In sim racing, it's a lot more mental than it is physical, and I think being in a good place mentally is absolutely key. And I've done a lot over the off season to get myself right and things like that, and have just a positive outlook on a lot of the things that's going on, not only with myself but people around me. And I absolutely think that this is the year, and I wouldn't be competing if I didn't think I still had a chance to win.
Of course, you have so far had, with your debut in 2012, you missed 2013 season, of course, so with 14 and 15, you've had 3 seasons so far, and of course you've managed 8 top 5s in that time, so you're no stranger to being at the front in the Peak Antifreeze Series, and hopefully 2016 will be that year for you. And just give us your insight. How has this year changed? We've asked the other drivers so far tonight about the massive shift we've seen. Of course, you've changed cars in the past, from the car of tomorrow to the Gen 6 car, but just how big for you has dynamic track surface been in making the racing more realistic, and something we talked about before the broadcast actually, drivers talking about in the iRacing service. Daytona is the race coming up for you guys, the season opener. We've heard talk about people complaining about lack of grip in one end of the track and good grip in the other. Just how good is it for you? Are you enjoying this, and do you think this is exactly what we've been looking for in a long time?
You see, the funny thing is when grip is an issue, you hear, even in real life, you hear the drivers complaining. They want new tires, they want this, they want that, the car's tight, the car's loose. I love it. I love the driver aspect that comes into it. And the greatest thing is, when Dynamic Tracks was released, it showed that the good drivers were the ones that went through the front, and the ones that could hang onto the car when it was extremely loose, and the ones who had the car set up properly could come through the field no matter where you were. Ray did it last year, coming from 43rd to 1st at Homestead. So for me, it's a huge confidence boost when the Dynamic Track surface came out. I instantly started running good. I actually don't think I've finished outside the top 5 ever since that happened. So definitely Dynamic Tracks, I would say, is the biggest change of last year that helped me and gives me a lot of confidence that I can win a race going into Daytona, especially Daytona, because I mean they're not kidding. The grip levels are a little lower there, but it doesn't scare me any.
It's certainly a different form of racing on the super speedways, but you are no stranger to victory lane overall. Of course, you did win the Pro Series in 2012 to qualify for the Peak Series, so you know how to get there. Of course, this season could be your chance to do just that. Will we be seeing the number 47 Menards Chevrolet in victory lane?
Well, I'm not trying to be too superstitious or look into things too much, but I've done three seasons in the Peak Series, and I've ran the 47 in all 3 years. And this year, the very first race, Daytona, is going to be my 47th start. So I've been looking at that, and I kind of noticed it a little while ago, and I thought, maybe it's time, but you never know. It's Daytona, anything could happen.
It certainly is, and well, thanks for joining us, Chris. We're going to talk to you again in our fan questions section, so we'll talk to you again in a moment, but we're just going to pop to a quick commercial. But first, we have the finishing positions from the NASCAR Pro Series of 2015. They'll be up on your screen any moment now. You can see there the top 10 in your Pro Series were Josh Berry, your season champion this year, coming out on top. Behind him, Alan Bowes and Dylan Rafferty, Dylan Duval, Nick Furler, Timmy Hill, Adam Gilliland, Thomas Davies, Brandon Schmidt, and Logan Clampett. Of course, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. After that, we'll be having questions from you, the fans. So please get your questions in. You can post them on YouTube if you're watching live. Get us some questions. We'll pick the best ones, and they'll be posed to the drivers. Please keep them really PG-13, guys. See you after the break. Welcome back to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series pre-season live show. I'm Rachael Whiteford, and you are watching us here live at it's Daytona, actually. But we've been talking to drivers tonight from Bryan Blackford, Rachael Whiteford, Chris Overland, Kenny Humpe, and Timmy Hill. In fact, we're going to be joined by them again now as we start your fan questions section of the show. We're going to have everybody in. It's a huge party here tonight. Of course, we are still going to have a chat to Tyler D. Hudson. He's not here yet. In fact, you know what? He's just arrived. Tyler Hudson in the house. You are here now, so we're going to do this straight away in front of everybody. We realise you just got back from work, Tyler, so we're going to be kind to you. Not. Tyler, are you there for a start? We'll just check.
What's up?
Hey, he is here, in fact. Well, it's Tyler Hudson with 1 win so far in the Peak Antifreeze Series, and 2013 champion, Mr. Consistency himself. Of course, one up Motorsports driver. You're looking forward to 2016, 2015. Tell us about last season.
Yeah, man, we're definitely looking forward to this season. I think our expectations for this year are pretty high. We're all pretty dedicated. Last year it was a hit or miss year for us. Some weeks we were really good, and other weeks we struggled pretty bad. It was no in between, pretty much, good or bad, but that's just part of it. We've done a lot of rebuilding, regrouping. We've worked really, really hard at improving on that, and I think this year it's going to show it.
Of course, last season was dominated a bit by Alfalla and Kenny Humpe stealing all those wins off the rest of you guys. Have to find a way of getting rid of those too, but it could certainly be a big season for you. Any particular tracks you find are your specialist?
I don't know. I really enjoy the restrictor plate racing. I like the shorter tracks like Richmond, and this year we got Loudon on the schedule. I don't think we had it last year, so that's good. But even the mile and a halves, I think our team in general is really good at those mile and a half tracks. And we've struggled just a little bit on the shorter tracks. I'm not looking forward to the road course races, but other than that, I mean, yeah, it should be good. Yeah, Ray and Kenny, they were really good last year. Kenny pretty much dominated the 75% of the schedule, and then Ray came on strong right there at the end, and those guys are going to be hard to beat. Every year they run, they're hard to beat, so that's definitely the guys we're shooting for on trying to beat those guys every week, or at least being able to run with them, and it's going to be a fun year.
Well, you said it. Hopefully it'll be a very fun year for everybody, and hopefully we're going to have our first fan question up for you guys all to answer. We're throwing you straight into the snake pit here, Tyler, so don't feel bombarded, but I believe we may have our first one, and this is actually from one of our viewers, a chap called Timmy Hill, actually, and I think hopefully we'll get this one up on the screen for you now, but he has a question for Kenny Humpe. We'll start with that one, and I believe this is do you feel rattled this 2016 season, Kenny, with the strong pro class joining the field?
Oh, there's definitely a core group of guys that are coming up through. I mean, like you said, with Timmy Hill coming up and Alan Bowes, who showed that he was pretty strong throughout the pro year there, and Josh Berry's been sim racing forever. I raced with him way back in the DMP days on NASCAR 2003, but there's definitely a lot of guys that are coming up through the ranks, and guys that have been here before, like Timmy Hill. I mean, I've raced with him for a long time too, and he's a great sim racer, and yeah, everybody knows what he's doing in real life. So, it's awesome to have these group of guys coming up, and I'm thankful to be able to race against them. I think it's awesome, and hopefully we'll be up for the challenge to be able to race against them. But yeah, they'll definitely pose a definite challenge for sure.
So you're not going to take the should we say the verbal joust from Timmy that he's going to beat this year?
Well, he knows what he's doing. He's here. I've been talking to him here for the past hour, so he knows.
Well, seeing as whilst we're waiting for fan questions, I'm going to pose one for everybody here. And we're going to go in order. So this is like being in school, guys, so let's see if you can keep up. What is your worst track? Start with you, Brian.
Ah, man, that's a really hard one because I like all of them.
That's not an answer.
My worst track, statistically, probably Watkins Glen.
There you go. Chris?
Well, see, that's a tough one for me too. I'd have to say Phoenix. Phoenix is just. I've been told not to say it's bad luck, but the racing that's at Phoenix, it doesn't gel well with my with the way I race, so I always get in trouble. Hopefully, looking forward to avoiding a wreck this year.
That's a good answer. You're not in the series, but we'll ask you anyway, EJ.
Well, for me, Dover for sure. Even though I'm not part of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, I've ran in Dover a lot on the Sims, so Dover for sure. Every time I race there, it seems like that monster reaches out and bites me.
Absolutely, Kenny.
Definitely Daytona because of all the different things that can happen there. You never know. It's like a lottery pretty much going into Daytona. That you never know what's going to happen. So I'd definitely go with Daytona on the schedule.
There we go, Daytona Super Speedway Lotteries. And well, Lisa, you drive, don't you?
A little bit, more on the roadside, but I can say as a spotter, it drives me batty doing Daytona just because the drone of the engines, I can kind of start going to sleep. I'm a kind of early to bed person, so I have fallen asleep when Brian did the Pro Series, so I apologize, Brian, for that. But yeah, Daytona, the long green flags are hard for me.
There we go. Of course, those ones, Daytona again. But Ray,
Oh,
you have to pick one.
There's so many.
We know
worse
you're good
tracks.
everywhere.
Michigan. I hate it.
Yeah, I agree. Tyler.
Oh, statistically, easily Watkins Glen. I don't know, man. I could practice there and feel like I'm on top of the world, and then go race and I run 30th. So Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen. Timmy.
I'm not a big fan of the one groove racetracks. I'm gonna have to say New Hampshire just because it's so tough to pass there.
New Hampshire. Well, interesting answers there, and a lot of fear for Daytona, so it's going to be a good race when we kick off the season, and just a handful of days' time now. It's nearly here, guys. We're nearly at the start of the season. Is everyone excited?
Very.
I love Daytona.
I was hoping
Yes.
for a woo there. Can we
Woo!
do a
Yeah!
Woo!
NASCAR!
Dale.
No, they're driving good.
Hashtag Dale with it. There we go. Had to get that one in. Okay, we got our next question. That is from Sam Cooper-Bennett, and that is, how do you all feel going into Daytona with the new Dynamics engine now in force? Obviously, Dynamic Track, and I guess we're coupling that with the 2016 rules package. So I'm not going to go down the list. I'm just going to throw this one out there. Somebody answer.
I'll take the start of it. It's gonna be awesome. The grip level I touched on this earlier. The grip level at Daytona is amazing, and you can get huge runs on people off the corner, and it's gonna make for like really erratic movements, and a lot of people are gonna get mad, and it's gonna be great.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to come in with an answer for that?
Well, it's probably going to be the least grip we've ever had, except for the old tire model, but I'm not even counting that. So, we should get the small spoiler, low downforce, probably by the third race of the season, and combine that with the tire wear we already have. It should be interesting.
There we go. Anybody else want to venture a comment? Wow, you're all so shy.
I didn't even know we're changing motors.
Well, the 2016 rule package and, the whole Dynamics engine, Dynamic Track, that thing that
Yeah,
happened.
she means dynamic track surface, not dynamic engines.
Oh, we're talking about the track? That's why.
Yeah, you're getting new dynamic engines. NASCAR is turning hybrid. You heard it here first. It's going to be the Toyota Prius Cup.
Oh, okay, no, I appreciate that. No, the dynamic track, it's awesome. We done a preseason Thunder race, most of the Peak Series guys, and it was interesting. We saw tire fall off, and it's going to make the long run out of the restrictor plate track very interesting. I think it's going to be very exciting for the guys to watch.
Awesome answers from you guys there, and going to go for a question now from Laura Lawson, and that is question for Kenny. With the new update pending, how is the team preparing to find those little tweaks to keep their speed up? Of course, we know Laura has a certain ability behind the in the garage with these cars. Obviously, you don't need to answer anything technical, Kenny, but are you guys prepared to find that extra few hundreds and thousands of seconds?
Oh, we definitely have the guys to be able to do it. It's hard to say what all the changes that'll be coming, because we really don't know. To be honest with you, we don't know what's coming after that first race. I think we race at Atlanta, and then we go to Las Vegas for the new build. But we don't know exactly what's going to be changing. So I mean, we'll just have to, whenever that new build comes out for them couple weeks that we have, we'll just have to go in there and kind of grind it out and try to find whatever we can going into that race. But with all the guys on the team and everybody that does such hard work, I think we'll be able to come up with something fast. But as far as the little tweaks and stuff, I mean, there's really nothing going into it. You got to kind of wait until the build actually comes out, and then we can kind of go from there, so to speak.
Of course, we know there have been several major changes in that side of things. And anybody here, of course, who does the setup work on the cars, feel free to chip in. But we know there's been some big changes already in the year just past, in 2015, which was huge for all of you guys to cope with on that side of the cars. Just how big was that, and how much it's changed the complete construction of the setups?
I ain't saying nothing.
Come on, someone say something.
Yeah, it's been big.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. It's been big. It's been big. Huge. It's been absolutely massive. There we go. So that's possibly the most wide-ranging answer you could ever imagine.
I will say the setups have completely changed from when I first entered the series, when it was founded in 2010. I think Tyler, Hudson, and Ray, they can all kind of chip in on this one, but we just kind of, set the front springs to where they needed to go and did a few things here and there, maxed out the right heads and the rear, and then away you went, and you were fast. But it's totally different now.
Well, there you go. That's a fairly good answer to that question. We're going to ask, we have two questions actually. One of them, which was from Logan Clampett, who is the most dangerous rookie in the NPAS field? I think he might have answered that one himself, so we'll leave that there. But of course, we have another question from, I believe it's Sam Cooper-Bennett again. This is for Tyler. Okay. Will we see you back at the front challenging for the title again this year? Of course, it's been a while since 2013. Can you do it?
Yeah, I think we definitely can. We proved that in 2013. It's just, man, it's really hard. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how hard it is, because Kenny and Ray and those guys make it look pretty easy. But for someone like me, it's pretty hard. But we've been working really hard over the off season. Like I said, last year we were hit or miss, and the year before that was the year after our championship. I just had so much going on. I was kind of out of the game a little bit, and we haven't put as much effort into it as we are this year since 2013. So I think that's a key element, and kind of a forecast of what's to come. I really, really expect us to be strong this year for sure.
Well, that's a great answer to that question. I'm sure we'll be seeing that happen on track this year. You know what? Whilst we're waiting for more questions from the viewers, and if you want to actually ask these guys a question, folks, don't be shy. Feel free to post it in the YouTube chat, and we will, if we think it's a good one and it's possibly PG-13, we'll get it on air, and you'll get your question posed live to the guys here. But I'm going to ask one in the meanwhile, and that's from me. Yep, me, Rachael Whiteford. And that question is, and this is going down the list, what is your biggest surprise performance in series history?
And I always get put on the spot. I'm number one on the list, but gosh, I think last year was kind of surprising to a lot of people, being able to come back fourth in points. That speaks a lot for our team, and how much they've improved me as a driver. Lisa and Ray and the partnership with Last Trail, they've pushed me to be better, and I feel like I am better. So I think last year was in totality was the biggest surprise.
And we'll go with you, Chris.
Can you repeat the question?
What's been your biggest surprise performance in series history?
Well, personally, I wanted to go back to the pro series for that one, because I don't think anybody expected, not even me, to win the championship after 2013, especially with how good Kenny ran at the end of the year. But when it comes to Peak, I think I go back to 2014, Indianapolis. I remember getting up that morning to race and finding out that Ray was way faster than me through some way or another. Nobody knows how that happened. He's never. No, I'm just kidding. So I spent all day working on the setup and made a last second change, and I was good enough to hang for the first half of the race and got away from everybody else. Of course, Ray ended up winning the race. Chad Lawton got second, but I ran third for a good 150, 140 laps, or not 140. The race is not even that long. It's 60, 40 laps in the race, and that was a big deal for me at that point, because I hadn't shown that I was a competitor yet in the series, and I think that's where I first started to show up on the radar.
Go to you, Kenny.
The biggest surprise, I'd definitely have to go to last year when Chad won at Texas. My teammate Chad Lawton. No, I'm actually just kidding. He's a good friend of mine. I'm just messing around. But I don't think there is any surprise, in the Peak Series, because you have everybody who actually makes it there is supposed to be there and can win any single race at any time if the cards fall right. So really, there is no really big surprises, I think, at the top level like we're at, because everybody that is there deserves to be there, and that's just the way it is. That's the way sim racing works, and at the top of the series you never know who's going to win, and I don't think there's been any surprises ever since the series has started, for the past 5 or 6 years. So yeah, that's my opinion. I don't know how it all works, but that's just the way I look at it.
The answer, Ray?
Probably, if I had to say, Phoenix last year, we won that race, and I didn't really like the track. I didn't like the new configuration, so I kind of spent the entire 2 weeks kind of whining about it. Ended up running way better than I thought. But I'm gonna give overall, as a general, most surprising thing ever that happened in the series, which is also, I think, my favorite moment ever in the series, was Sandeep winning at Vegas in 2010. That was absolutely
the infamous race.
My favorite moment of the series.
I think we all remember the sideways COD car in that race.
That was actually the first race I ever watched live. Super confused.
Before cars could get repaired and damage was pretty much permanent, and everybody was nursing their cars, I believe, in that race. It's one of the legendary races in iRacing history. Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the series in general goes, it's hard to argue with the Sandeep win at Vegas. That was a real surprise. But as far as me personally, I'd probably go the opposite of some of these guys that are saying they're surprised they ran so well. Richmond last year sticks out to me. Well, thinking we were pretty decent, we went in there, and I think almost 40 laps in, Kenny was leading behind me, about to lap me, and we got a lucky break with a caution. I was surprised at how bad we ran in that race. That's the one that sticks out to me the most.
And we'll finally go to you, Timmy. Of course, not in Peak Series yet, but let's just include everything before Peak.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't run Peak yet, so I don't have some of these great memories some of these other drivers have. But iRacing, I've had a lot of great memories. They had a great Pro Series. As far as Peak memories, I really paid attention last year because Tyler ran. When we had our team restructured, we had a fun race at Charlotte where Alex Warren actually won the race and Tyler finished second. So that was a big surprise moment for us because we were very new with our team building these setups, and to get that 1-2 finish was really special for us.
Awesome. Oh, we've got another question here from Raccoon Racer. Awesome YouTube name for you. This is to anybody, so somebody pipe up and answer this one. I'll make it a quick question. Does dynamic track rubber change the car that much over a run? I'm gonna answer, or I'm gonna pick people.
I think, I mean, a little bit. Like I mentioned earlier, I wish it would do more than it currently does, but it's, of course, a work in progress. Right now, I think you just lose a little bit of grip, whichever lane has the most rubber on it, which is usually the bottom lane. So you end up forming a bit of a higher groove. And at tracks like Homestead, which have to have the variable banking in the corners, you could actually have a lineup by the wall, which is what we saw last year. So it changes a bit. But I'd like to see it change a lot more.
I also feel like the heat makes as big a difference, if not a bigger difference, than the rubber getting laid down. That's just kind of what it feels like to me. But yeah, it definitely does change, especially if you have 43 cars out there like we do.
Yeah, great question. Oh,
I'm gonna touch on something I remember seeing on the forums a long time ago. There was a quote by a former Peak driver who said that he wasn't happy about the single file school bus quote unquote racing that the service produces, and now the dynamic track surface, it definitely feels like if you get moved out of the preferred groove, you can hold your own in pretty much whatever lane. It's not a death wish to move out of the groove. So that's a big thing for me, because when I was coming up, I had a hard time hitting the right line. So now it's not as important, and if you can roll the throttle better than somebody, it's not really as important as being in the right line.
Yeah, I think Chris brought up a good point. I think in the Pro Series, I think it was Atlanta, we saw, I think, the entire field, especially 1 and 2, they ran anywhere between the white line all the way against the fence. So it's definitely working. Like Ray says, I think it could be better, but it's great to see iRacing going in the right path.
There we go. And question from Evan Pisoko. In fact, you'll be hearing a lot more from Evan Pisoko because he will be joining me to commentate these races this season live here on RaceSpotTV. So you'll get to know him well. Of course, you will remember him from LSR TV and the Pro Series this year. They're very familiar with people like Timmy. So it'll be good to see him. But his question is, who is the most underrated competitor in the series that you think could be a contender to win this year? Everyone, argue amongst yourselves and let's have an answer.
You talking winning races or the championship?
Let's go for both, shall we?
Winning races, Andrew Fayesh. Absolutely Andrew Fayesh. He drove his butt off of that Richmond race. And he definitely proved. I mean, I've known him for a long time. I know he's a good racer. He just never had the setup help, and now he's finally got it. I think Andrew Fayesh has like a breakout year this year.
As far as championship goes, two guys on our team that I think are very underrated. Casey Tucker won. He was rookie last year. Did phenomenal. He just had some hardware problems. And PJ Sturgis, who is one of the best drivers in the series, no doubt. And he doesn't seem to get the coverage on the broadcast like he should. But I'm sure RaceSpot will get him on there more. But as far as people who aren't on our team, Dylan Duvall, he's going to be really good this year. And obviously Alan Bowes, he's going to come back with that experience he got from last year. And I'm sure he'll be very strong.
Anybody else want to venture an answer or a name for this one?
I do like T-Law for Daytona.
There you go. We have our answers. Last question, I think, before we come... we have two more, actually. We have a quick one from Chris. A guy called Chris Overland apparently asked a question.
Oh, no, I hate that.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one. What are you most... Oh, I actually need to send this one to our camera chappie, Mr. Hugo Luis, of course, the Coanda sim racing driver in the Road World Championship Series, so no speed slacker himself. But the question is from Chris Overland, what are you most excited about this year in iRacing as a whole?
I'm looking forward to the new user interface. I'm not sure if that's this year or not, but that's going to be a huge step forward for the service in general and getting more people involved with the hobby. Also, just racing in the series. It's what I love to do, and I hope everybody enjoys the broadcast this year. It's gonna put on a heck of a show, and I'm looking forward to that.
The X11 comes out.
I was waiting for somebody to say that. I was hoping we'd start a brawl about DX11 and whether or not it's going to matter. It's all over the forum.
Is anybody excited for the dirt Nürburgring in the snow? Any other things people are looking forward to? Anybody GT3 fans? I think we've got a few of those cars coming out this year.
I'm looking forward to seeing the new World Championship Series you guys are going to be covering. The Endurance Series I didn't pay attention a lot to it when they were getting the qualifications, but I learned a lot about the Endurance Series racing and how all that works from what I did watch. So hopefully that turns out to be good.
I ran some of that this year with Trey Edson and Adam Gillen and Timmy ran the Blank Pen Endurance Series to try to qualify. And for the World Championship Series, unfortunately, we didn't make it, but we had a lot of fun trying. It's definitely a whole new adventure to race with another driver, in the same car. It's different if you wreck it out yourself and you lose points for yourself, but when you affect your whole team like that, it's definitely a whole new obstacle to try to keep the car in one piece for 3 hours, 6 hours, or even like a couple weeks ago, 24 hours at Daytona.
Well, anybody else want to come in with a last comment or two before we close in on this question?
I'll step in, but the most excited thing, you guys stepping up and taking over the Peak Series as broadcasters. Congratulations to you guys, by the way, for being able to come in and get that. I'm excited for the whole year with the Peak Antifreeze Series, but at the same time, I'm excited to see what iRacing can do moving forward, with their, like you guys talked about, the dynamic tracks and everything like that. But just excited to be a part of it again for another year, and hopefully we can all have some fun. I know we've had some fun tonight, and hopefully everybody has some fun this year, and we can continue on with what they've built for the last 8 years.
Awesome. Well, we go to a final question. That's from Brooke Etherington. And I want to hear this one from everybody, so we'll go down from Brian all the way down to Timmy. If you had to place a bet today on who will win the 2016 series other than yourself, no self-betting here, who would your money be on?
Alfalla.
That also doesn't count.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, that.
You can't inside a trade.
Oh, that wasn't
probably a Lord
against the
Vegas about
original
picking a
rulebook.
Let's keep it out of house, Brian. Come on, you gotta be humble.
Okay.
Is that outside of LRM as well, or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh gosh, that's like cutting out like 10 people.
Okay. Let's see. Why not go with Kenny Humpe? It's pretty good.
I heard that.
I was actually gonna say Justin Bolton because Justin has a very, very smart racing IQ. I know he does a lot of real life racing, and he's on the team. They've got phenomenal setups. So Justin at any given time is gonna win, and you never know, once he gets that first one, you could just be like Kenny and knock off 25 more.
I would love to see Cody Bias win a championship.
There you go.
But that's
Kenny.
just me.
Hey, is it? Well, that's not in house. I thought it was.
Nope.
No, it's EJ. It's after
Yeah,
that.
EJ.
And if it was a year ago, yeah.
Well, we weren't talking about who we would like to see win championship. It was who we were gonna bet on.
Cody Bias.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good bet, Kenny.
EJ's friends with everybody.
I agree with everything Chris said with Bolton, but I'm in house, so I can't pick him. But I'd have to go with picking outside the box here. Let me look. That's tough. That's a tough one. But I'd go with probably Ray Alfalla. I mean, he's proven. I'd go with Ray outside our team.
We'll
Lance
go to you as well,
Gomez. Lance Gomez going to win it.
Yeah, Ray, ladies first. We're going to go to Lisa on this one as well.
Oh gosh, see, I was thinking you're gonna skip me. Gosh, there's so many really good drivers. Wow, I mean Tyler is a really good driver. I mean the baby was last year, so I'd probably. I mean, there's a lot of really good drivers, but Tyler probably has a lot of motivation this year. So, thinking maybe Tyler.
There we go. And Ray?
Lance Gomez Jr. for the win.
A serious answer.
Probably like Matt Busa.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think
That
of
is a
Matt.
good answer, actually. And I
Oh,
do have
that
to
is a
admit
good
I
one.
put
Yeah,
Ray up to the previous answer. Tyler?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that, Lisa. Yeah, I mean, all these guys have covered it, and everybody's out of house for me. So any of the guys mentioned, Ray, Kenny, Matt, Justin, all those guys are really good. There's a lot of really good guys in the series that could at any time bust out and do something really special.
You guys that pick Kenny and Ray, you're not playing the odds right. Those guys have like 3-1 odds. You're not going to win much money.
He does raise a very good point. Timmy, who would you put your money on?
Well, man, like Tyler said, and like everybody else said, I think everybody's picked some really good choices. And heck, I think half this field can win the championship. I think it's all about not wrecking your car, not doing anything. I guess that would sacrifice your points championship. Like I said, I think half this field can do it, just based off the Pro Series and not having raced the Peak Series. I think Andrew Fayash, Chris touched on that earlier, he ended the Pro Series really strong with a win, and this last 3 or 4 races are really strong. I think it's going to kind of carry into the Peak Series, so he's kind of an outsider, but I think he may have a shot at it.
There you go, some very diverse and interesting answers to that one. Of course, drivers tend to pick outside of their teams, or shall we say, super team conglomerates in some cases.
I'm gonna bring this up because nobody said it, and when somebody brought up Busa, it was instantly the person I thought of. He had a lot of trouble last year, but Nick Ottinger, I mean, he hasn't won a championship yet, and he's probably, I'd say he's the best guy who hasn't done it.
Well, there we go. So,
Very good point.
well, I'm afraid we haven't got any time for any more questions from the audience, so I'm sorry if we couldn't read your question out. But, of course, you'll have chances to do so throughout the year, of course. We'll do some update shows over the year, and hopefully we'll get to talk to some of these guys again. Of course, we've been joined tonight by Bryan Blackford, Chris Overland, EJ O'Rourke, Kenny Humpe, Lisa Pineda, Ray Alfalla, Tyler Hudson, and Timmy Hill. And I've been Rachael Whiteford. Of course, don't forget, you will be able to watch the first race of the season, Daytona, on the 23rd of February, kicking off our 16-race calendar. On the 1st of March, we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hotlanta, for some mile-and-a-half action after the Super Speedway fun. 15th of March, we go to Phoenix International Raceway, and we'll go to the mile flat track, of course. Then it's big 2-mile flat-out racing at Auto Club on the 29th of March. April 12th is Texas. April 26th is Richmond. We go to Vegas on the 10th of May. The 24th is Charlotte Motor Speedway, everyone's favourite. 20th of June is Chicagoland. 12th of July, Kentucky. July 26th, it's the Brickyard. And that actually does go into a side question. Just a quick one to Bryan and to Ray. If either of you win at the Brickyard, will you kiss an actual brick?
I don't
might
really.
supply the brick.
Yeah, I already have it.
There you go. He will kiss a brick if he wins at the Brickyard. After that, of course, we go to Watkins Glen, which is, of course, the weakness for some drivers. That's August 9th. 23rd of August will be Michigan. Then we have Darlington in September, along with New Hampshire. We're going to Loudon, New Hampshire for the first time. Wrapping up the season on the 11th of October at Homestead Miami Speedway. Well, thank you for joining me tonight, guys, and thank you to all of you viewers out there who've watched our show this evening. Looking forward to an incredibly good season starting in just 10 days' time at the world home of motor racing, Daytona International Speedway. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you there. Good night.